Initially, when this development idea came up, the owner had wanted to find a solution to set up a commercial building that was both functional, but also that wasn't going to spend a lot of money on. So we are located in the hub of the South B, just off Plainsview Road. We suggested that we use Precast for the project, and so this is how we ended up partnering with Kingdom Precast for the supply and delivery of all of the precast materials that we've used. And I'm hoping that we're going to get a chance to walk through the project so that we see exactly what it consists of. The project in itself consists of 24 shops and hosts a myriad of businesses, from salons to a restaurant. We have barber shops, a pharmacy, and the likes. So we are looking to create a hub of business within the community that would be able to serve the community, but also that for the landlords would be able to make a decent return.
This being a highly residential area, was that the initial idea of the developers, the owners now? Did they want to build this kind of commercial setup?
Actually not. They had considered doing another residential building, but then looking at the cost implications of setting up a fresh off the ground apartment block vis-a-vis what it would cost to set up a commercial one and the rate of return for both, it only made sense that we go the commercial way, but even more sense that we use Precast to be able to deliver the project in good time, but also deliver a project that was of standard quality.
Yeah. Are all the 24 shops fully occupied as of making this video?
Yes, all fully booked. In fact, 100% of them were booked before we even completed the project. Yeah. Currently, we have people who are now doing fit outs for their shops, and most businesses are expected to start operations starting the 1st of April of this year.
Okay. How long have you developed these shops?
So this took us 4 months to get to the level that we are in. We are still doing a few finishes, but the major part of the construction project took roughly 4 months, and we are looking at another 2 weeks or so to be able to now completely hand over the project to the landlords.
Okay. Yes. For Mr. Wambua, yes, this is a major commercial project. So how did you handle the logistics of making and supplying the precast panels?
Yeah. One, we start from the time of order. Since the time they place the order, I think they place the order, then they requested for some time to do other things like the foundation and all that. But the order took a minimum of 2 weeks because one, they requested for some time to prepare, but it was not an issue supplying. Again, these were for the floor and the walling. They were around 1,100 pieces. And this was around 14 trips. And each trip was around 8,000 here. South B is not so far from our place. So it was so easy. We used to bring them as per the request. Again, you've seen there's not enough space to put all those pieces at one time. Yes. But we were very much well on time. And the deliveries, we had really very little or no challenge at all. Again, I'm grateful for the owner for choosing to go the precast way for both the slab and walling. And I'm so grateful even for Eric making such a good job. He's a good guy. I've worked with him for long, so I know the kind of job he delivers. This one, it's also very special.
Why precast and steel?
Why precast and steel? Because of the ease of delivery and the ability for us to be able to save time. There is also a lot of security in knowing what the costs are going to be upfront, as opposed to some conventional buildings where you have a lot of shifting parts. At least with steel, you know how much steel costs and what quantities you need. Similarly with panels, it goes the same way. So it really helps to control the cost implications for implementing a project.
Yeah.
As far as time and being able to save on time is concerned, I think majorly not just about the use of the panel, but also choosing the right partner for the supply of these panels.
Okay.
Like has been explained, it is very easy when you're working on a project to have a team that works together and pulls together in different directions.
Yeah.
Right. And so that is the kind of partnership that we found with Kingdom Precast.
Okay.
That we are able to make pre-orders and then build up a timeline for how we want the deliveries done, so that we are also not constrained on storage costs and water fuel. So that is what I would say are some of the biggest advantages for delivering this project.
Okay.
A good example would be in terms of the amount of savings that we've been able to accrue while implementing the project. We were able to save about 35% in terms of the cost of the build.
Yeah.
So that in itself places the developer at a good step, because they're able to start recovering their monies way earlier than what would be anticipated if they had put up, the building either commercially or rather conventionally, or maybe even done an apartment building that would, has a payback period that is slightly longer,
Yeah.
or sometimes even much longer than working with Precast.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, since you've touched on the budget, how can you break it down, the construction costs for this particular project?
So in terms of construction cost, we spent roughly about 27,500 per square meter of the project. And the project is the structure alone was roughly 380, 390 square meters. Of course, when you add other auxiliary builds, services like cabroing and many others, the cost piles up. But in terms of just setting up the block itself, about 27,500 was what the cost came to.
Okay.
That, coupled with how little time it took us to bring the building up, makes a lot of sense economically and financially for both the developer and the project manager or the contractor, as the case is for us.
I know you've done precast for the walling now, but having looked around and walked through the project, I've also seen you've done precast for the slab.
Yes.
Take us through the construction of that.
Precast for the slab and say a beam and block, for example, are not very different as to how the floor is supported with, when you're building.
Yeah.
The only difference with ours was that we specifically just wanted to go with steel and precast as opposed to pre-stressed bars.
Yes.
And blocks for the same.
Yeah.
So not much difference there. The reason why we chose that was for ease of implementation, but also we didn't want to mix too many technologies at once all together, because of obvious reasons.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, what's the size of each shop now that you're standing inside one?
Each shop is about 13 square meters, roughly.
Okay.
How we built them up was setting them up so that each shop sort of looks as though it is, facing the direction of the customer. So it's easy to, it's easy to notice, it's easy to see. There wasn't much science to it. It was more trying to look at what the customer preferences would look like, but also building it up in a way that, we reduce cost as much as possible for the owners, for the developers, but also offer the clients a space where they would not just, thrive, but also enjoy, doing business in. So that was basically what the concept, artistically speaking, or conventionally speaking, when we are looking at what the customers would be asking for vis-a-vis what the developer has that they are willing to invest that would give them a decent return.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's the size of the plot now, like roughly?
This one is slightly smaller than an eighth, very, very close to an eighth, but then being able to fit in the number of units that we've been able to do that, is a feat in itself. Reason being, panels, as you know, are slightly thinner, much thinner than what conventional bricks are. So they also help us to save on space. Okay. So we're able to have slightly more units and slightly more space per unit, and that serves the clients much better.
Okay.
Yeah.
So again, good people, I'm grateful for you believing in our products, believing in us. We are happy for the many projects we do for you. Some people we've never met, we just talk, and we do a lot for you. Again, we remain grateful to you and above everything to God for believing in us.
So guys, I know some of you are commercially oriented, and I hope this video has helped you or given you some insights when it comes to developing commercial projects. So if you'd like to get in touch with Eric Muturi and Sammy Wambua, I'll leave their contacts below in the description and also in the pinned comment.